with an invisible government.
We are obviously engaged in many facets.
Vor dieses Volk hinzutreten und billige Versprechungen anzugeben.
Who is at present the chief of the Guided Missile Division of the Army's Rocket Center at Redstone Arsenal.
May 8, 1945. The clock strikes 2:30 p.m. in Berlin, and the city lies in ruins, a smoldering graveyard of shattered concrete, twisted steel beams, and the faint echoes of a war that's just gasped its last breath. The Third Reich is dead. Adolf Hitler shot himself in his Führerbunker 9 days ago, April 30th, at 3:30 p.m. A cyanide capsule crushed between his teeth as Soviet artillery pounded the streets above. Germany's surrender is signed at 2:41 a.m. In Reims by General Alfred Jodl, the swastika lowered across a continent scarred by 6 years of carnage. The streets are hushed now, save for the rumble of Soviet T-34 tanks rolling through the Brandenburg Gate, their tracks grinding rubble into dust, and the distant clatter of American jeeps weaving through the chaos west of the Elbe River. But beneath this surface of victory, a secret race ignites, not for territory or prisoners, but for the minds that fueled Hitler's war machine. American troops, GIs from the 1st Infantry Division, mud-caked and weary, scour the wreckage of bombed-out labs and bunkers, their radios crackling with urgent orders from Washington. Find the Nazi scientists, seize their blueprints, beat the Soviets to the punch. By dusk on May 15th, in a hidden underground factory near Nordhausen, 150 miles southwest of Berlin, they uncover a treasure trove. Blueprints for V-2 rockets stacked in damp crates, schematics for jet engines scribbled in meticulous German script, formulas for nerve gases that could choke a city in minutes, all penned by the brilliant, blood-stained hands of men who built the Reich's terror weapons. Within weeks, these minds, over 1,600 of them by 1959, some with hands still red from concentration camp atrocities, will wear U.S. military badges, their swastikas traded for the stars and stripes in a covert operation that'll reshape the world. This isn't a cleanup, it's a heist. A daring grab of intellect and secrets that'll propel America to the moon and cast a shadow over the Cold War's jagged edges. This is Operation Paperclip, how the U.S. recruited Nazi scientists. A true tale of espionage, moral ambiguity, and a frantic race for power. A story where war criminals morphed into architects of American triumph, where the line between enemy and ally blurred into a secret so audacious it rewrote the very fabric of history. The clock ticks back further to September 8, 1944, 6:43 p.m., when the war's tide has already turned against Germany, but Hitler's still hurling fire at a crumbling empire's foes.
Vor dieses Volk hinzutreten und billige Versprechungen anzugeben.
From a mobile launch pad hidden in a quiet suburb of The Hague, Netherlands, a V-2 rocket, 40 feet tall, 13 tons of steel and fury, blasts into the darkening sky, its roar shaking the ground as it arcs toward London at 3,500 miles per hour. 93 seconds later, at 6:45 p.m., it slams into Chiswick's Staveley Road, a West London residential street, 3 dead instantly. Rosemary Clark, 2, crushed in her crib. Her mother, Ada, 28, buried under rubble. Sapper Bernard Browning, 29, killed on leave. The blast carves a 20-foot crater, shatters 11 homes, and sends a shockwave through Britain's wartime psyche. No warning, no defense. The world's first ballistic missile in action. This is the brainchild of Werner von Braun, 32 years old, a boyish genius with a mop of blonde hair, piercing blue eyes, and a Nazi Party membership card, 185,068, pinned to his lapel since 1937. Born March 23, 1912 in Versitz. Then Germany, now Poland. He's an SS Sturmbannführer by 44, a major in Hitler's elite guard. Dreaming of space travel since he was a boy, launching firecrackers in Berlin's Tiergarten, but building death instead at Peenemünde, a windswept research base on Germany's Baltic coast. There, since 1942, he's overseen the V-2 program. 1,300 rockets launched by war's end, 2,754 civilians killed in London alone, 1,700 more in Antwerp, a weapon that rains terror from the edge of space. His team, handpicked brilliant, is a roster of talent.
Mr. Dulles, I know you've heard this many times, but there are people who say that we, with regard to the CIA, are waging a secret war with an invisible government.
We are obviously engaged in many facets of what is generally called the Cold War.
Arthur Rudolph, 38, born April 9, 1906, in Steffershausen, production chief who turns blueprints into steel. Kurt Davis, 36, born November 29, 1908, in Frankfurt, launch specialist with a knack for precision. Walter Dornberger, 52, born September 6, 1892, in Gießen, a Prussian general steering Hitler's rocket ambitions. They work in Peenemunde's labs, gray concrete bunkers humming with machinery. But the real hell's 100 miles south at Mittelwerk, a tunnel factory under Kohnstein Mountain near Nordhausen, where 20,000 slave laborers from Dora Mittelbau concentration camp die forging their rockets, starved on 800 calories a day, beaten with truncheons for slowing, hanged from cranes for sabotage, their bodies piled in mass graves as V-2s roll out at 900 a month by 44. The Allies know, since 1942, the OSS, Office of Strategic Services, precursor to the CIA, tracks Peenemünde. RAF Spitfires buzzing 30,000 feet overhead, snapping grainy photos of launch pads and test stands shrouded in Baltic mist. By 43, British bombers hit. August 17th, 18th, Operation Hydra, 735 dead, labs cratered. But von Braun's team digs in, moves underground to Mittelwerk, keeps the V-2s flying. Allied intel sharpens. Major General Hugh Kner, Army Air Forces, pens a memo, October 1st, 1944. These men are the future. Rockets, jets, the edge over Russia. We need them intact. The Soviets smell it too. Stalin's NKVD, precursor to the KGB, combs captured Polish towns by late 44, hunting rocket scraps and scientists fleeing west. February 17th, 1945. Germany's cracking, Berlin's encircled. Von Braun gathers his team in a Peenemunde bunker, concrete walls dripping with condensation, air thick with cigarette smoke, and defeat. Hitler's finished, he says at 11 p.m., voice steady, a glass of schnapps in hand. West or east, who gets us? They debate. Soviet gulags loom. American labs promise freedom. They vote west. Pack 14 tons of plans, blueprints, equations, test logs into crates. Load 500 scientists onto trucks March 19th as Soviet guns boom 50 miles east, rumble south to Bavaria. May 2nd, 3:15 p.m. Von Braun surrenders to Private Fred Schneikert, 44th Infantry Division, near Oberammergau, hands raised on a mountain road. We're yours, don't shoot. The OSS, rebranded Joint Intelligence Objectives Agency, JIOA, by May. Leaps. Colonel Holger Toftoy, 42, lands in Frankfurt. May 10, orders crackle over telex. Get them. Clean their past. Now. The grab's a whirlwind. May to September 45, U.S. teams race Soviet looters across Germany's carcass. May 15th, Nordhausen. First infantry storms Mittelwerk, 20 miles of tunnels carved into Kohnstein Mountain. 20,000 Dora corpses rot in bunks. Skeletal hands clutching rags. 115 V-2s gleam in rows, blueprints stacked in damp crates. Arthur Rudolph's there, pale and twitchy. Born April 9th, 1906, in Steffershausen. Production chief who drove slaves to death. Hands over plans at 2 p.m. SS past buried in a nod to Captain Robert Staver. June 3rd, Bleicherode. 86th Infantry snags Kurt Davis, born November 29th, 1908, in Frankfurt. V-2 launch guru with SS lectures on his resume. Jet designs bagged under a tarp at 4 p.m. Major James Hamill barking, "You're ours." July 10th, Oberammergau. Walter Dornberger surrenders to the 7th Army at 11 a.m., born September 6, 1892, in Gießen, general of Hitler's V-weapons, rasps, "Take me to America. Soviets'll kill me." August 1st, Operation Overcast. Paperclip's seed, starts small. 127 scientists shipped by September 20th. Von Braun flies from Frankfurt to Boston on a C-54 Skymaster, wheels up 10 a.m., lands Fort Strong, Long Island 5 p.m., quizzed by Army Ordnance on rocket fuel over stale coffee at 6:30. Soviets grab 200. Peenemünde scraps, but the U.S. wins the mines, 1,600 by 59. Paperclip's full bloom approved July 19th, 45, by Truman's $6 million budget, named for Paperclip's pinning cleansed dossiers. The cover's slick. JIOA's Colonel Ernest Lang, 47, rewrites histories. August 15th memo. Security risk mitigated. Past affiliations irrelevant to scientific value. Von Braun's SS card, 185,068, issued May 1st, 1937, vanishes into a shredder at Langley. Rudolph's Dora oversight, 20,000 dead under his quotas, erased from his file by a JIOA clerk in Frankfurt. Davis's SS lectures on Aryan superiority, delivered 41 at Darmstadt, wiped by a September 1st edit. Dornberger's V-1 buzz bomb kills 7,000 civilians, buried in a footnote stamped classified. Truman's briefed, Potsdam, August 6th, 11 a.m., Joint Chiefs whisper, use them, don't lose them. State Department balks. They're war criminals, but War Department wins. September 18th, Paperclip's green lit. Memo reads, Cold War trumps justice. Expediency now. They land. Fort Bliss, Texas, January 1946. Von Braun's team of 127 grows, bunked in dusty barracks off El Paso, rebuilding V-2s by March. 8 launches by 47, soaring 200 miles into New Mexico skies. White sands proving ground. Rudolph crafts guidance. 48, specs for the F-86 jet fighter rollout. Huntsville, Alabama. 50, Von Braun's ABMA swells to 500. Saturn V's seed planted. 55, he's a U.S. citizen. SS passed a ghost, scrubbed by JIOA pens. Soviets lag. Korolev's R-7 beats Sputnik. October 4th, 1957, 10:29 p.m. Moscow time, but U.S. tech leaps. Explorer 1, January 31st, 1958, 10:55 p.m. EST. Von Braun's win a middle finger to Stalin from orbit. The stakes soar. Cold War heats. Space race burns white hot. July 29th, 1958. NASA's born Paperclip's heart.
To help show you what is being done to solve these problems, we have called upon one of the foremost exponents of space travel, Dr. Werner von Braun, who is at present the chief of the Guided Missile Division of the Army's Rocket Center at Redstone Arsenal.
Von Braun's director at Marshall Space Flight Center by 60. Huntsville's rocket hub, 4,000 workers under him by 62. Rudolph runs Saturn V production. 62, 5,000 hands forge the moon rocket at Michoud Assembly Facility, New Orleans. Debut heads Kennedy Space Center. 63, launch ops at Cape Canaveral, pads humming by 65. Apollo 11, July 20th, 1969, 9:32 p.m. EDT, Neil Armstrong steps onto the lunar surface. One small step. Saturn V's roar echoing von Braun's dream. Nazi blood washed clean by moon dust. Rudolph's 20,000 Dora dead forgotten in Huntsville's cheers. Davis's SS pin, a relic buried under Cape Canaveral's launch towers. Dornberger's V-1 kills a whisper at Langley dinners. Soviets fume. Luna 15 crashes same day, 9:18 p.m. Korolev's loss stings in Moscow, but cracks emerge. 67, Dora survivors sue. Rudolph flees to Canada, May 25th, 1984. Citizenship revoked after OSI probes. Dies 96 in Hamburg. Unrepentant. 72, Von Braun retires. Cancer kills him. June 16th, 1977, 65. Huntsville, lauded as NASA's visionary. War crimes a footnote. Debus dies October 10th, 1983. Cocoa Beach. NASA. Hero status gilded. 69 Medal of Freedom from Nixon. By 90, 1,600 paperclip Nazis, $1.5 billion in tech contracts. Jet fighters, F-86 Sabre 49. ICBMs, Atlas 58. Apollo. Cold War wins carved in steel. Justice sidelined by necessity. The secret holds tight. JOA memo, September 45. Classified national security. Locked until 84. FOIA pries it open. 1,600 men. 10% war criminals by Nuremberg metrics. Dora's 20,000 dead. V2's 9,000 civilian kills. V1's 7,000. Buried for victory's sake. Critics howl. 89. Eli Rosenbaum. DOJ's OSI. Storms 60 minutes. February 5th, 8 p.m. ESTI. Moral disgrace. War criminals built our space program. Dora survivor Hans Frank, 92, testifies in Bonn. Voice breaking. They got medals, we got graves, 20,000 of us. NASA shrugs. 99 statement dry as dust. Science served progress, not politics. Past is past. Congress probes. 85 hearings. Senator Al Gore grills CIA's William Casey. March 12th, 10 a.m. How many Nazis walked free? Casey dodges. Classified. Cold War necessity. The tally, 1,600 by 59. $10 billion in today's tech value. Redstone rockets, 53. Korean War edge. Saturn V, 69. Lunar crown. Titan missiles, 62. Soviet checkmate. This was Operation Paperclip, how the U.S. recruited Nazi scientists, a heist of intellect, a deal with devils, a race won in shadows that stretched from Hitler's rubble to the moon's silence. From V2 terror to Apollo triumph, they built America's future, on bones they left buried in Germany's ash.